15 minutes after the demo starts, they should be getting followed up on. And if you can get your staff and your people doing that, that way you're always getting all updates. And again, you can be creating, you can be helping, you can be following up with people, solving problems, issues, whatever's going on. So just random sales coming in and you upselling, that's cool. But if you want to take it higher, definitely have it. So we know like these are demos that we should have heard from already, all the 530s. So she's going to be attacking that right now with them and following up on demos. So they don't go, so that you set the pace in their first weekend, you set the standard for accountability. And that you are looking for them to check in. They were supposed to check in, right? So if you want them always checking in, if you don't hold them accountable their first night to checking in, then they think, oh, it's okay, they just said that, but it doesn't really matter. Versus, hey, did you try to call in like an hour, 15 minutes after? We've had a bunch of calls coming in, not sure if you tried to call in. Sometimes they did. They're like, oh yeah, the line was busy. Hey, I'm so sorry, we're closing tons of sales. Everything's been crazy, but hey, and then talking to them about it, all right? So that's really important. The other thing is, when you go through them, it's like, hey, dude, just make sure. And if they didn't, like, oh no, I forgot, or oh no, it canceled or rescheduled. You want to say, okay, well, hey, just so for future, you want to make sure that when you're, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Give a thumbs up. Okay, cool. So when for future, make sure you're calling in from every demo. I want to help you. I want to be able to coach you. I'm not always going to be, but especially your first weekend, because first weekend we can try to coach as much as possible. Say, hey, look, I want to be able to support you because during the week I'm going to be busy and I just want to teach you certain things. I want to coach you. And you're just shaping and molding mindset the first weekend so they're really ready through their first week, okay? So if that night, they had someone cancel, right? They say, oh, Francisco, well, somebody, like they canceled their appointment. That's why I didn't call in, right? Oh, hey, was everything okay? Oh, they canceled. Okay, so what'd you do during that time, right? So you create an expectation. And I remember like one of the guys, he's like, oh, he had made calls when a demo canceled because I was like, hey, by the way, he had checked in and said, hey, my demo had to reschedule. I said, all right, hey, thanks for checking in and let me know that. Hey, are you able, I said, I know you're planning on working right now anyway. Can we sit down and make 10, 15 calls real quick and see if we can land an immediate or see what else we can create, worst case for tomorrow, the next day. But hey, it's Saturday night. It's pretty easy to land a last minute demo if someone's home. If they're home, like it's real easy to get. So they're either out or they're home. So if they say, oh, I'm out, then book them for tomorrow or whatever. But if they're home, you can get an easy last minute demo. And telling a story with it. Like I'm like, hey, we had one of our girls, Tiffany. She had her first demo reschedule. She made like 10 calls. She actually ended up talking to a neighbor who was outside and booked it for immediate. Went over there, sold a Homemaker Plus 8, hit her first promotion. So that was pretty awesome. And they're like, oh, cool. And you get them excited about going and creating something. So that kid, I remember this was last summer. He's like, okay, cool. Let me see what I can create. And he did that, and he went and talked to someone, booked someone up, sold a couple $100, got some recommendations. But what was awesome was on our group me or whatever, WhatsApp back then, but on our group, one of the girls had said, oh, my demo canceled, sad face. And he responded, hey, make some calls and try to book an immediate. That's what I did, and I sold $400, and I got however many recommendations. So make some calls so you could try to replace it. That's a really good thing to do. And I just started laughing. This is a brand new rep who launched with her in training. He's the one that responded first on the group. And I was like, heck yeah. But you set those trends, you set those right expectations from the beginning, and it makes such a big impact and influence in their long-term career. So this is where in their first weekend, you have a chance to shape and mold, what are they doing? They know a demo cancels, are they booking it? Things that I want to make sure they're doing, actually, are they making 5 calls before and after every demo? So even before they left today, making sure reps are doing 5 calls.
Oh my God. What is wrong with you? Tell me. I literally just like fall close to the wall.
Listen up. So you want to make sure as we're following up with people, do they make 5 calls before, do they make 5 calls after the demo? Every time that we're getting sales updates. By the way, Adriana, this is for you guys. Adriana, this is for you guys. This is for both parties. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So when you guys are talking and getting sales updates, are you every time asking how many sponsors did you have, all right? And getting the group of sponsors, that's an expectation. And do they call their top 2 people for you? And if you haven't done that, we'll talk about that. Because I want to make sure we incorporate that. You know that the new manual, if you changed it from like texting them and asking for heads up, I'll walk through that. But anyway, making sure that are they making their calls? If the demo cancels, are they creating action? Are we telling stories to create that action? That's going to create more CPO. So all the things are in 530. To your more. So when we're, that's a big part of our reps, I know, want to call in, are excited to call in because of the stories that we share about people calling in, things that happen, upsells that happen. So they want to learn, they want to coach. It's not like a hassle to call in, but we have to make sure that we're coaching them and giving them value. Can we tell them how to call in? So something I did today, and I want to coach you guys on something with calling in, was coaching how to call in. Like right now, by the way, the kid that I was working with, Homemaker, and telling him about the signature, we ended up installing a complete set with some other stuff for free. But I have them put, when the customer says if yes, right, in their manual, when they say ask for the Homemaker if yes, I had them right there just exactly what to say, because sometimes people butcher it or they wouldn't call in the right way. And so I was telling them, I said, look, if you give us a chance, we're gonna upsell like at least half of your orders, by the way. Sometimes it's like 70 or 80%. And then some of the pop-ins they heard, like, oh, they upsell every time. That's not true, we don't every time. But I said, if you give us a shot and you do it the right way, we're gonna be able to upsell a lot more. So here's what I said, so here's what you wanna write. So I just did it so they say it the right way, because I was getting so aggravated with people saying, oh, are there any, can we get them a deal or whatever? And I'm like, it's not what I wanna do. You know, like they're buying the Homemaker, if they were definitely getting it, they said yes. I want to upsell it. I don't want to get them a deal like on that. So I wanted them to say it the right way so that there was the right expectation with the customer. So what I have them put is after it says yes, I have them write, hey, let me call my manager real quick to see if there's any bundles or packages you can take advantage of. So that's what we said. So let me call my manager real quick to see if there's any bundles or packages you can take advantage of. Because by the way, when it says yes, right, it says if yes, show them, oh, we have accessories, like it says that. So I'm like, hey, show all the accessories, see anything they were eyeing, and then make sure to call in the right way and say, hey, I just want to call in real quick. My customer's definitely getting, so the next thing I did, is after, right under that, there's like another space. And I said, so when you call us, here's what you say. You say, hey, my customer's definitely getting blank. So if they said yes, you call us and say, my customer's definitely getting blank. Wanted to see what packages or bundles might be running they could take advantage of. Cool, that's what you're gonna say. So and it's just perfect because it's just set up for upsells. So he calls in, hey, my customer's definitely getting a Homemaker. And I said, oh, what did you offer them free? He's like, oh, the kitchen tools or entertainer packages, but they want to do that. I just want to see if there's any packages or bundles they could take advantage of. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I said, hey, by the way, and I was showing him the signature, and then he called back, she's like, yeah, she's considering that. So what could she do again with the signature? And then I handed the phone right low. I'm like, close this signature upgrade. And then she ended up talking to the lady and said, hey, by the way, do you cook a lot? Hey, we have our complete set. And I got her in the groove this week of just talk to the customer, have them put it on speaker so these reps see us upsell. Because sometimes they don't relay the info the right way and they butcher it. And you could sell so much more to their family and friends talking to them if you can their first weekend. So it just, again, it gives them more confidence too, because during the week, we're not gonna be available to do all of that. So I tell them, hey, we're gonna do it for you your first weekend, and Monday we're gonna show it how to do it yourself, okay? But by doing it more with us, and we still want you to call in because we're gonna help you guys out, but we're not always gonna be available during the week. But the more you do it with us this weekend, the more you learn. And then you know how to do those things better yourself, or you know the verbiage, you know how to present it to a customer better because you watch us do it, or we coach you through exactly what to do or say. And they're like, okay, cool. So that was something that I put in their manual. And then when you turn to page 10, you know, the top says, if they're on the edge, call off. You know, if they love the Homemaker, but the customer's on the edge, call the office for friends and family, whatever. You guys are all with me, what I'm talking about. So I had them put there, if the customer's on the edge, when you call us, what you want to say is, let me call my manager to see what deals. That's when you say it. Let me call to see what deals we could get if you wanted to get that. Cool. So that's fine. Say whatever version of that you want. But here's what I want you to do. When you call us, write down, my customer's considering blank. What does that tell us? We need to just close that thing. And this is really important that we make sure that all of our guys do. I said, look, guys, there's two scenarios, right? If you call us and say, my customer is definitely getting this, what do we know? We hang up. That deal's done. You're writing up the order. Like that's done. That's a done deal. Okay. So when you tell me, hey, my customer's definitely getting that, that's code for what? Upsell my order, make my order bigger. You know. So when they say my customer's definitely getting blank, I know that you want me to upsell it. Does that sound good? Because you know that, I mean, they're getting that for sure. So I'm just trying to make the order bigger. All right. Now the other thing is your customer is like on the fence. So when you call me and say my customer's considering blank, what does that mean if they say my customer's considering blank? They might not buy. So I know when you call me and say my customer's considering blank, I know that you're saying, Kathy, please help me close this sale. They might not buy. Like, I know that's what you're saying to me, okay? Obviously, you're not gonna call me in front of your customer and be like, please close my sale, they might not buy. So obviously you're not gonna do that, but when you call and say they're considering, I know that's what you're saying, cool? And they're all like, okay, got it. So then guys, when I give you a deal, here's the deal maker, okay? I could try to give you whatever deal, I could try to upsell, but if you're not excited, your customer's not gonna be excited, okay? They're just not. So when they call in, you need to be like, oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. And so I write on the board, just so you know, all right? So this is a key phrase I teach them, and this is good to teach all your staff, all your people to be on the same page, is just so you know. So I say, so guys, when I give you a deal, you need to, one, get excited, cool? So you call in, they were considering or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, cool, dude, hey, check this out. I'm gonna give you a deal, you're gonna write it down. By the way, when you guys give deals, when your staff gives deals, you gotta coach them on being enthusiastic. Because I hear new AMs all the time, like, oh, hey, write this down. You guys need to make sure your staff understands that whoever you're talking to is 3 notches lower on an excitement level or enthusiasm level than you are, right? So I tell reps, hey, if you're at, this is why you want to have fun and be excited. Because let's say you feel average. I'm doing a good job, right? I'm average. I'm like at a 5. Where's your customer? Look at a 2. Is a sale going to happen there? Absolutely not. If you're feeling like, oh, I'm good, you know, like you're like above that, you're like, I'm at a 7 or I'm at an 8. Well, where are they? 4 or 5. It's like a maybe. So where do you need to be in your level of enthusiasm and excitement if you want a sale to happen? I mean, you've got to be at 10 or higher because then you have better odds. If you want them at a 10 though, where do you need to be? I'm like, oh yeah, and you'll see that with people like Andy Janti, with some of our top guys. They're like Cutco junkies. It's hysterical. Like, Miss Jones, check this out. And they're like so fired up, even though he sold over $2 million of Cutco and has done this for 13 years. Every time he sees Miss Jones, he is just so fired up about Appetit Carver. Like, you watch Andy, he's coming for SC1, by the way. He'll be speaking on closing like a champ, and it's gonna be phenomenal, okay? He gives the most phenomenal message. And he's hysterical. He's amazing. So he goes through like nonverbals and explaining, and these kids are gonna be so fired up. But he's sold for so long and he's still like, you right, look at this, you know, and it's so funny. But the fact is he's like at a 15, so his customer's like, I'm like, that's why he closes 95% of the time and he has an $1,100 average order. And his customers always come back, and every year he earns 50 to 75 grand doing nothing from past customers that always come back and buy from him because of what he has. And they're just like, all right, so you gotta be excited. So we give you a deal. Here's the deal. I'm giving to you. So you guys, your staff needs to understand this, because they might just be like, oh, I'm giving the rep a deal, right? But now we've got 3 layers. And so the staff's got to understand, hey, you've got to be like a 15, 16, 17, okay? So that rep can be at a 10, 11, 12, so that customer can be at a 7, 8, 9. Because if you're at a, like, first of all, if you're just like, oh, dude, here, give him this deal, is that deal going through? No, 90% not, okay? It's not going through. You've got to be excited when you present that deal. So again, if you're excited, like you're presenting it to a customer, it might go through, but it's got to go through 2 channels. So if you hear Mary Lou give deals, have you guys heard her on the phone? And she's like, let me tell you this, right? Like if you hear, she's like, dude, I got a deal for you. And they're like, yeah? And they get pumped up. So just how the manager presents the deal is so huge, because when the rep gets excited about it, that is what transfers to the customer and sales happen. Cool? Big time. So make sure you coach your staffs on this. So when they give a deal, how excited are they, right? So they're doing that, and then the rep goes, really, and it's so funny because you see the reps that close all the deals are the ones that really do get excited about it. And they go, oh, that's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, heck yeah. And the customer's sitting there waiting like, what's awesome? What's going on, you know? So, and I teach this to the managers. Now on a rep standpoint in training, I teach from them to the rep, you know, like I don't talk about the AMs, but the AMs need to know, they need to be even like on a Cutco crazy junkie level.
So you tell your reps to be like super freaking excited.
So I say, when I give you a deal, I go, here's a deal. When you guys call in, I said, it's a waste of your time to call in if you don't call in the right way and you don't get excited, okay? You wasted my time. Because if you're like, oh, okay, what's your customer gonna be like? They're gonna be 3 notches lower than you. So you've got to get excited. You can do that however you want. Simple thing. When you're talking to me and you go, hey, my customer's considering this, or hey, and I give you a deal, open your eyes and just go, that's awesome. That's it. I said, you can do whatever you want. You can get as excited as you want. You're just like, really? Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to let them know. And just say that or a version of that, but they need to see you get excited, okay? And depending how much time I have, you know, sometimes I go off on my Mike Arrieta story, but it was hysterical, and he'd always do this. This is a true story that you can share if you want, but every time I would give him deals, I would always hear this like clapping noise. Like when I was in the middle of a deal, I would just hear like, every time I'm like, what is he doing? Like I always hear this like random clap while I'm still talking. He's like, I'm like, oh, tell him this is this, and I just hear that. And I'm like, what the, okay, whatever. He sells, Kyle Pichetto starts, 15K fast start. I'm coaching Kyle all the way through. Kyle finishes his fast start. I'm like, hey, Mike, I want you to mentor him. He's gonna be your mentee, right? I always match people up from key staff and new rock stars. It's another thing you guys wanna do that we're gonna start doing now is matching people up. Hey, he's gonna be your mentee for the summer. I want you to help him win a scholarship with you. Cool. All right. And he's like, yeah, let's do this. So he starts just giving him like the tips he knows. Right? Kyle calls me. I start hearing that damn clap. I'm like, no. I'm like, all right. They go to the team meeting. I'm like, you two, come here. They're like, what? I'm like, what is the clapping sound? And Mike goes, oh. And he like was that. I'm like, what's going on? And he looks at Kyle and Kyle's like, I'm like, tell me. He goes, you can't get mad. I'm like, I'm not gonna. He goes, no, you can't get mad though, and I'll tell you. And I'm like, yeah, because I always heard it with you, and now all of a sudden he's mentoring with you. There's this damn clap in the middle of me talking. Because well, you know how you told us to get excited? I'm like, yeah. He goes, so every time you're giving me a deal, I'm like on the phone with you, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna let her know. Yeah, absolutely. All right, awesome. And I hang up. And she's like, why did I just high five you? He's like, so I always like make the customer high five me while I'm talking to you. And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna let them know. All right, awesome. And he literally would always do that. He's like, and they get fired up. They're like, what? Like, what did you just high five me for? And he's like, guess what? He's like, I know you weren't planning on getting anything today. I just wanted to show you this deal my manager just gave me because there's this package that has that. And if you want to try it out, it would only be blank. Or you could do it buy 3 get 1 free with the pieces that you liked. Would either of those interest you, or did you still want to wait till later? You know, and we'll turn no sales into sales all the time like that, all right? Or they were definitely buying these 2 pieces, and you call and we give you a deal, and you go, okay, my customer's definitely getting this. Guys, by the way, you call with 2 pieces, my customer's definitely getting blank. You call us and you get excited, you will sell a set almost every freaking time because it does not make sense for a customer to buy 2 pieces. They're paying almost $200 for 2 pieces. Cool? That's half of the price of a starter set that has at least 5 tools and a block and a cutting board and $125 of free stuff. And I write it on the board. People are visual. So I go 2 pieces, $200. So I don't know, scissors and a petite carver, right? So I'm like, scissors and a petite carver, $200. Petite carver and the chef and the spatula and the period and this and a block and you know, and I write everything down and $125 for free. All this $675 value, you know, only blank. I said they're almost paying half the price for the 2 pieces. Do you see how that makes more sense? Like, oh yeah, and they get that, and I'm like, so show your customers, and it's not a pressure thing. And so the phrase, you guys can write this down, that I teach everyone to do is I write down on the board, just so you know. I'm like, every CSP says this, every FSM says this. This is a key phrase when we give you a deal. So 1, when we give you a deal, what do? Yeah, get excited. And then 2, when you hang up, you say, hey, just so you know. So there's 3 places you called in, right? 1 was they're definitely buying. 1 was they were on the fence considering. And the other place was if you were having a no sale. And I tell them, because it's true, I'm like, if you call excited, they liked Cutco. And you call in and you get excited about whatever we tell you, half your no sales will end up being sales, even if it's for like 2 things, you know, 1 or 2 things to get their collection started. They just needed a better deal. And by the way, that's where I tell my Taylor Mack story, where he was having a no sale, and he's like, oh yeah, no, they're gonna wait. And I was just like, hey, well, and I tell the guys, I'm like, I'm gonna ask you, and I walk them through. So rewind. Customers definitely getting when they said yes, how to call in. If not, on the edge, how to call in when they're considering. This is what you say, you call me so we can close this out. And by the way, it might happen here, it might happen later. Whenever they're definitely getting something or they're on the fence about a set, that's how you call in. You guys all good with that? Okay, cool. And they're like, yeah. Because even when I go to the galley, I'm like, and if they say yes, what do? You call and you say what? Oh, my customer's definitely getting, cool. And we're gonna upsell that thing almost, you know, at least half the time. And if not, then if they're like on the fence, what do? Hey, my customer's what? Yeah, considering, right. And we're gonna give you a killer deal. And then what do? Get excited, yes. And be like, guess what? My manager just said, if you guys wanted to go ahead and try that out today, there's a deal where you can do, you know, whatever, discount or blank free. Hey, is that something you'd be excited about? And they're like, oh, wait, what? What do we get for free or what do we get off? And boom, sale closed, cool? Now let's say you end up dropping all the way down and let's just say you had a no sale. Let's say like, you know, we're just gonna have to wait, you know, whatever. Does that mean you're gonna have a no sale? And they don't know what to say. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, if they liked Cutco, our job is to help them find whatever's best for them today, if at all possible, you know? So like, and I'll tell you guys, as a staff, we turn, I'd probably say, I feel comfortable seeing at least half of our no sales end up being a sale if the customer really liked Cutco and wanted it. And you want to ask, hey, did you like Cutco? Do you want to go, hey, by the way, what, you know, you reserve the first call or whatever, but if not, you just say, all right, cool. So if they have a no sale and you already like had told them about first call and they said no, here's how you go about it. So this is important because reps say, the customer said, I don't want to get anything right now. I'm not going to be like, well, you want to get this? Like they just told me I don't want anything. Wrap up, ask for recs, and then say this. You say, I need to call my manager real quick to verify my appointment, okay? So because, guys, you do, like, customers will ask you, it's not weird, customers are gonna ask you, hey, Francisco, how do they know you were even here, right? They're gonna ask you that. Oh, I have to call in to verify. So that makes sense, all right? So just call and say that. And they're like, all right. And by the way, and I told them that too, when a customer's definitely getting, oh, let me call to see what bundles or packages you might be able to take advantage of. If the person's like, oh, no, we're just gonna get this. They're like, oh, well, I have to call and verify anyway, because they have to know that I was here. So I'll just check in real quick and I'll write up your order and call us anyway. And when you hang up, keep doing what you were doing. And then it's like, hey, just so you know, if you wanted to do this, there's a deal that says, so I just wanted to show you that. Do you like that, or you want to just go with what you were doing? And so it's very low key, very laid back, non-pressure, but you're showing them all their options. So anyway, we go down, right? Let's say they don't reserve their first call. No, I'm gonna wait or whatever, and you have that customer. And by the way, those customers happen 10 to 33% of the time, depending who you are, because our top guys all have 90% plus closing ratios, and then our lower guys, you know, so they're gonna happen. So if you have that person that's you know, they're like, I'm just gonna wait or whatever. Well, if you guys call in and they really liked it, like I said, we can turn, you know, most of the, like I'd say a good half of those end up being sales if they really liked Cutco, just because they got a really great deal. So Taylor Max, his customer wasn't getting anything. Okay, I'm gonna wait. And he called and I said, hey, just so I know, and I said, guys, listen to me, because this is what I'm gonna do. When you call me to verify your appointment and it's a no sale, here's what I will say, so it doesn't catch them off guard. I'm like, I will ask you, hey, just so I know, what 2 or 3 things did they like the best? Do not answer, oh, they loved everything. I know they did. Cutco's awesome. I wanna know, what 2 or 3 things were they most eyeing, would they be most excited about having, okay? Like if Cutco was falling from the sky, what would they be most excited about having? Cool, that's what I wanna know. So when I ask you, hey, what 2 or 3 things do they like, don't answer me with everything, I already know that. Just say, hey, and you can ask Ms. Jones, hey, if Cutco was free or falling from the sky, what are the 2 or 3 things that you like the most? Write those down, okay? And just tell me, and then here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a deal. Now in this case, you're gonna get excited, all right, but here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you, hey Johnny, and this is what I told Taylor Max, Taylor, do me a favor, and Taylor was fighting me, guys. He was like, oh, they're gonna wait. I'm like, I understand, Taylor, but if Cutco was free to, yeah, but they just don't wanna do anything right now. I'm like, Taylor Max, do me a favor and ask your customer if Cutco was falling from the sky and was free, what 2 or 3 you like best? Don't give me that point. I don't want to get to that point, but I literally was like, yeah, I am. And he's like, okay. And he's like, hey, just so I know, and just say that, just so I know, if Cutco were free, falling from the sky, like, what 2 or 3 things you like? So they picked out a couple of things, and I said, awesome. Do me a favor and just write this down. There's a package that has those and has this and has this and has this and has this, and I go slowly. And you got all that? That's a $600 value. I said that would come out, by the way, to $412, and the deposit would be like $84. Cool. Next to that, please put, if they bought the scissors and the chef, we could do that trimmer for free. Okay, so here's how this is going to go down. I'm going to hang up with you, and when I hang up, you finish whatever wrapping what you're doing. You say, hey, Miss Jones, by the way, when I called to verify, my manager actually told me there was a package that had these things that you liked and had all, like it's all the stuff in this, and just walk them through that deal, or, you could buy these 2 and get this free. So I just wanted you to know that that was an option. Is that something that you might want to take advantage, or you want to just wait till later and just keep it real chill? And guess what? Taylor Max goes, wait, what do I get? And he calls me back. They want to do the package. And his first net sale, $378, by the way. The lady ended up buying the $400-something package. We gave her stuff free when she wasn't going going to do anything right now. And that happens. And I'm not saying it's going to be the whole package each time. Sometimes it might just be one or two things, or we just remind you about, hey, don't forget the preferred customer, that if they buy any tool today, they're in the system and they can always get deals later. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And that's a big thing because we want to really eliminate zero sellers and getting everyone finding something to get into everyone's hand. So those were just some things that when I was in training today, I was really attentive to. It's stuff that I always cover, but I was just kind of putting it in their manual and testing them on it so that they felt really comfortable, going through that. So those are just things I've done for years that I feel will be really good. Also, something I did today, I know Andres, you had asked what videos, and I really loved it, is I did my high flyer workshop, right? And I went through my 7 keys. And then once we finished that, just because I was by myself, and this is great if you're low staffed, and I loved it. And I was like, actually, I think I'm gonna do this always. I loved how it ran, is then I played, I said, so guys, what I'm gonna put on right now, so never leave without 3 no's. So you wanna show all the accessories that are, how I talk about that with the last step. And then I said, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play for you guys right now. It's 18 minutes, however long it was, that Danny Feldman, one of the best in the business, someone that I learned so much from back in 06, 07, when I had my first $1 million year in 1.5, and this is true, like I stole Danny's stuff and I applied it, and that helped us be #1 in the nation in 07. And I said, and he is, year after year has developed so many of the best people. I have a lot of respect as one of my colleagues, and now I would compete against him. But some great stuff. He's actually going to walk through when you see Cutco customers, how to make sure you're still maximizing that, as well as he's going to walk through all the accessories with descriptions. So you want to take notes because this is huge. While he's doing that, I'm going to do all your paperwork. I'm going to get everything ready in the system for your contracts. I'm going to make sure that this all rolls. So I put that video on, and you guys, I just went, and it's the one that teaches managers, but you can just play it for the reps or like start it like a minute in. And you look up how to teach, how to sell to Cutco customers. Yeah, something like that. I'll look up the exact.
I know it says
past customers. It says something, yeah. Look up Danny Feldman. It's something with past customers, and it's a video where he's teaching managers what to do. But he starts saying, "This is what I do," and then he just does it live, like he normally does. He just does it. So it's great. I was watching it on Tuesday, and I had sent out an email about that, but I did that. I incorporated it. And it was awesome. So I put that on, so that's playing, and they were all taking notes. And so as they did that, I checked to match the PRs to make sure that like the PRs were matched to the right people. Like there was no reds basically for the like you have to like match them or you can't close out training. So to make sure all the PRs were matched. Any emails that had bounced, by the way. What's up? He wants to. Okay, got it. So. Can we close that? Door for me? So while the video was playing, I matched all the PRs. I checked the emails that had bounced to make sure that was all. Like, we've got to close out training properly. That's on Saturday. So that gives you 15, 20 minutes without anything going on while they're learning the accessories. That's something you teach them anyway. But Danny does a phenomenal job during that video. And so while that's playing, I was sitting there like, okay, Julie, come here. What's your email? This bounced or whatever, or hey, sign this. Or I had one 17-year-old today, so I was like, hey, we need to get this signed and then go here. So we were doing that while that video was on. And once we finished, I said, so everyone feel good? And they're like, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, so what we're going to do right now, remember how I talked about this is your best time to reach people, those who were here earlier, from 8:30 to 10:30 is the best time. So right now it's 9:30, it's go time. What we're going to do is I just sent contracts to you guys, so I had already sent it. So it was awesome. It was the fastest signing of contracts I've had in my life. I was like, oh, that's amazing, because everything else was done. And I went, hit, boom. So guys, right now, I just sent an email with your official contract. On that contract, please leave that door shut. On that contract, it has your rep number, okay? All right, cool. We'll get updates in a minute. So this, what's up? Ask Mary Lou. She's the one. I have no idea how to use this stuff. So anyway, so when you, what was I just saying? Yes, so the video finished, and I had just sent the contract. I go, everyone, take out your phone. I was like, a contract was just sent to you. In that contract has your rep number. It's really small near where it says Vector. It's 8 digits. It starts with a 4. Go ahead and write. When you open that, make sure to write it on the front of your manual so you all have that. I had no problems later. No problems with when we were doing PRs. If someone was going to use that. I don't have my rep number. I don't have my rep number. Everyone had it. So it was like, hey, open, because we were all together. I'm like, you're going to open that up. You're going to sign that. All right, and as soon as you finish signing that, rip through all the max you didn't reach last night, okay? You're gonna call through them and see how many more you can book. This is a phenomenal time to reach people. And by the way, you're not gonna reach some, and I also say that, I'm like, because some people who here played sports, yeah, we left the house at 8 a.m. Tournaments were starting. They might be in a game, they might be in a tournament, they might be somewhere that started at 9. You're just not gonna catch them right now, and we'll catch them later. So I'm like just kind of framing their mind too, to not be like, oh, it's too early. I'm like, actually, you're not gonna even reach people because some people are already like busy and out and about. But you will catch some people. You will catch some people that you call right now, and you know, here's, you know, asking for an immediate appointment, and I walk them through that. So let's get focused. Every 2 demos, you guys are gonna get a little a ticket, you know, and this is really gonna help out. So this transitions into my the pop from training. You know, like we're gonna pop over 1,000 per head. We launched 19, and I hope we do 25 to 30,000 in new business by Monday. And I'll tell you guys, day 1 of training, when we went around, how many names did you bring? The average was 12. Like my stomach turned a little bit when I like, I'm like, how many do you have? None, 10, 12, the 15 was high. Most of 10, they got the minimum of 10, 15. I had 2 with 30. And then I had one kid who, my top step PR didn't even have any, which you guys later. So when I went around, hey, Britta, can you tell the managers I need both of them here now?
Hey.
All right, they can close sales. Mary Lou, please get in there and close their sales so I can have them here. Please. But they're all on their phones right now. Because you're here.
No.
That's why. So grab whatever you want to drink. I just really need them here right now. So anyway, when I just want to be able to
I
like.
feel like she did come to it. All right.
You will. What was I just saying? I just lost my train of thought. Oh, with the names. So I literally went around, and this was something that I saw. I was just like, ugh. But I realized from doing it last week and doing this, because I haven't been doing a lot of tutor trainings, like you don't. The more and more I think about it, and it's like they don't need to have 30, 50, 100 names and numbers to call to do really well. Yes, it's great if they do. They have more people to call, whatever. But let's think for real. How many people are they actually comfortable calling the majority of your reps? 90% of your people only call the people they know anyway, and most of those are already in their cell phone. Their aunt, their mom, they're like most of the people. And even when I've had kids, let's say pre-2 day, right? When they came to the next day of training, how many times did I have people, they didn't even have numbers? Or they had time, they're like, oh, they're in my phone. Did anyone ever have that happen? Like, I'd have some of my best reps, oh, I have all the numbers in here. They already have those numbers of their top people, right? So that's like something that I've been looking at, and I'm like, huh. You know, like thinking back, okay, between 3 day and 2 day, what's really the difference? I think a lot of it right now for us is more psychological than anything. Because when we really look at results, it's like, okay, even if we didn't like push the assignment at all, and I was talking to Lloyd about this, I was like, Lloyd, I just don't feel that I said, I want to get really good names, but the more I think about it, it's like, yeah, Caden had 70, you know, or 82 names and numbers of Mac customers. He didn't feel like, he was like, oh, well, I haven't talked to people in a long time. All these people live away. Like he got his top 7 people lined up his first weekend, and that was it. He had those numbers in his phone. He could have not done the assignment and gotten those same 7 appointments. Grandpa bought 16 grand. Mom bought $1,000. Auntie bought like $500. You know, like they just, those people, like he had them in his phone. But I'm just saying that, like, even if they didn't walk in, that's not, we shouldn't be freaking out. I know initially I was like a couple weeks, I'm like, shit, I gotta make sure, you know, like with the steroids, I'm getting time and I'm telling them to bring the names and numbers, but the other ones are not. It's like, it really is not. What's important is every time we're talking to them, are they getting more numbers? Are we making them feel comfortable that with where they're at is exactly where they should be at? Like there's no issue of wherever they're at. So when I went around at the beginning of day 1 and you're doing the overview, right, on day 1, this was really important. Andres! There's things you wanted help with that I'm covering.
Okay.
They can close things. Tell Caitlin to please come in here too, please. Huh? Okay, well, she just disappeared. All right. So in the intro on day 1, they're walking. One of the things you say is, we're going to work on da-da-da, and we're going to work on your initial list, right? And you mentioned that. We're going to work on your initial list. By the way, who here already got a list going? So when you say that, and if you walk, like I was going through, who here already got a list started? All right. The ones that didn't do it, do they feel behind? No, they're just kind of like, oh, something like, oh, we were supposed to do that. And I still have kids, and I'm like, I know they gave you the paper when they accepted you, you know, like in my head. And they're like, oh, I didn't know we had to do that, or I didn't know we had to bring that. And I'm like, because I know they did, and I know the recruiters told them. but at least they don't feel horrible, all right? And the kids that do have anything done feel what? Ahead. So I'm like, hey, who already started working on it? And they're like, I'm like, awesome. And they're like, oh yeah. And they all feel good versus like, oh man, I don't have anyone, or I'm not gonna do well. They all feel good. So I noticed that yesterday. They're like, oh yeah. And I was like, awesome, that's great. I'm like, how many do you already have? And I went around to check because the other week I saw bigger numbers. I was like, oh yeah, and it felt really good. But it was like 10, and they're saying 10, and inside I was like, oh. I was like, okay, good, all right. 12, 15, okay, 30. Hey, great job. My top 2 were 30. That was it. There was 2 of them. And I was like, hey, great job working on that. How many? Okay, all right, perfect. Hey, by the way, later today, I had 17, by the way, and I did have 17 in my initial list. And I'm like, I had 17, by the way. So I'm gonna help you guys later. We're gonna do an exercise to help you guys expand that. You guys will see how much bigger it grows. All right, and they're like, all right. So then later when we got to names list, what I am doing is kind of a quick version of the old names list that I have in my training. And if anyone has my training keynote, just so you guys, well, I'm gonna show it to you.
Can we get it?
Yeah, you can take it today before you leave, the keynote that I put together.
Please.
I know you guys all have different things or different versions of stuff you run, so I don't want to Okay, so check this out, ready? So when we get to, so I'm like max training list. Those of you on the phone, you can't see this, but whatever. Or you can look at it on the live stream. So we have max training list, so we get to that part. I'm like, all right, so as I transitioned from closing, I said, so who here's excited to have a lot of sales? Cool. Number 1 way to get more sales. Anyone want to know? All right, maybe raise your hand or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, get more appointments, all right? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put together your initial practice list, all right? At the end of the day, you're gonna notice in Cutco, the thing that's gonna get you the most sales is to just have more demos booked up, all right? So Caitlin, I need you here. Need that door shut, please. So when you guys go through here, Caitlin, I really need to talk, and I can't with that open. So when you guys go through here, I'm like, hey, what I'm gonna show you guys right now, anytime in Vector, by the way, the number 1 solution to having more sales is having more demos. Why do you think that is? Yeah, it's a numbers game, right? So the more demos they have, the more chances that you have. So I'm gonna get you guys, we're gonna put together your first initial practice list. You guys know who do you practice with? Yeah, friends, family, anyone ever, you know. So we're gonna do a little brainstorming here together. I want you guys to turn to page 22 in your manuals right now, okay? And what we're gonna do is in a moment, I'm like, don't start yet. We're gonna have a little contest with it because Vector loves contests. So we're gonna have a little contest with it to see who gets the most while we're here. You're gonna get one of these comfy chairs for tomorrow. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna brainstorm with you guys different thoughts, all right? Now, here's the thing. Some of the categories I'm gonna brainstorm, you're not gonna have anyone that fits those categories, and that's okay, all right? There's first off, there's 4 gears of people. There's people, one that you know really, really well, right? You talk to them regularly. Some of you, that group's really small. Some of you guys, that group's really big, all right? Not a good or a bad thing. For me, it was big in high school, but it'd been a while since I talked to people. So really that close-knit group was really small because I'd been gone for 3 years in school and didn't really talk to many people. So gear 2 was my bread and butter. And those are people that either you know of or they know of you, or it's been a while, all right? So like they know who you are. You know who they are. You just haven't talked to them a while, right? So it's been a while. That's number 2. And number 3 are similar associations. Maybe it's the same school. Maybe it's the same church, neighborhood, but you've never met them before. And then gear 4 are recommendations, guys, that you just don't know at all right? So as your comfort goes, you'll go from gear 1 to gear 2 to gear 3 to gear 4, and I'll guide you along the way. Everyone will go through those gears at different paces, okay? So what we're gonna do now is start brainstorming. Most of this brainstorm is gonna be gear 1, gear 2, but if you think of other people, write them in there. Doesn't mean you're gonna necessarily see them this weekend, but it's just to kind of get the juices flowing, cool? So as you think of people, just write down names. We're not writing any numbers down. Here are the rules for this. Every line is its own household, okay? So if mom and dad are divorced, they'll be separate. If they're married, they'll be together. That makes sense to everybody? Okay, cool. So if it's like different people that live in the house, even if they're with them, do not put them. One line is one house and that's it, okay? So we're gonna do that. Don't worry about numbers right now. We're just gonna get the juices flowing, cool? So when I say go, again, I'm gonna give you thought joggers. No talking during this time, no nothing. Just be thinking about and just be writing names of each household, all right? So here we go. So first off, immediate family, all your immediate family. And I just went through this pretty fast. It's not, I don't take a lot of time. I'm like, how about all your extended family? Who lives far away? We have virtual demos, write those down. Hey, who here has, family, friends? Think about people you saw during Christmas. Think about people you saw during Thanksgiving. Think about people you saw for New Year's. Memorial Day weekend, this past weekend, who did you see? and walking through those people. All right, how about parents, coworkers? You know, those were great for me. I saw one of the ladies who worked at my mom's, and I just give like examples of anyone from those categories as they were writing. And I'll tell you guys, like everyone had on their list at least 25, most of them 40, or the top third all had all 50 of these fields, and we're starting to write in the bottom. So it's just like that old names list, I guess, but it was just a quicker version of just getting it going. And I said, all right, cool. So we went through all the different categories that I have here, which this is what it looks like. All right. So it's just like neighbors, church families, high school friends, who was younger, who was older, how about their parents, whose houses you go through for parties, friends from other schools, who do you know that played sports, who do you know that's involved in martial arts, who do you know who sings, music, dances, who do you know who plays water polo or plays really good pool as part of their gym, country club. How about old coworkers, if you had an old job, or old bosses, you know, who's over 30 there. Babysitters, people that babysat you, you babysat for their parents, you know, that hired you. And again, everyone, and by the way, I told them, I said, everyone you're writing down is over 30. So I know a lot of you guys, your friends are under, so just write John's mom. Some of them you know really well, some you might not know, and I'll show you later. So again, let's just get the juices flowing. So tutor, mentor, and so I went through, I'm doing that, because initially I know I keep moving around, but now that I've done it, this feels the best, because they're not coming with huge lists, and that's okay. So going through this process, they got a bigger list. I'm like, all right, cool. So some of you guys, you know these people. And that's why the text message today that Drew sent out, right? And I recopied it on our group of just, let's coach them on how to get the numbers. Because that's what we've seen, is even as much as in theory we were seeing, is it's like, let's just, you know, for those who are comfortable, let's get them collecting numbers in that weekend. So we made a sheet, which you guys should all have, on getting more numbers and giving that out to them. And so they were doing that and collecting numbers.
That text your friend.
Yeah, the three different things to text your friends.
Actually, so you gave them training? Because I've been
Yeah.
doing it AT1.
I've been doing it at AT1 too, but then a lot of them like, I need to get my friends' parents' numbers. I know the parents, well, I just want the number. I'm like, here, I'm like, text this. So to day one, which I'm gonna start doing.
It's on the math zip file. The master
In the mass.
file. That was like Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Get more friends from parents.
Yeah, it should be on Monday because it was originally for advanced training.
It wasn't on Monday. It was a random day.
Maybe
but
Tuesday.
It was like a Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, then it was for PCs on Tuesday or something. But yeah, we're gonna do that in day one. And now that they're gonna do all the other ones, I'm not teaching until they do. I'm like, for the parents you know really well, and for the other ones, we'll still bring that sheet back out when we meet with them. Hey, how about the people that you haven't, that you don't know the parents, and showing them how to text those people.
Yeah.
But on Friday, so what happened is, so these guys all had a good list, all right? Yesterday, we averaged about 4.5, 5 per head before they left, by the way, because again, mom counts, grandparents, they have those numbers in their phone. But okay, wait, rewind. So I finished this, went through the names list, or got that together, and I said, all right, cool. Now we went through, so I want to generate who are our best people. So we just wrote everyone over 30. You know how that page says star if they're a homeowner, and
The page is different.
Are you using your training with your?
with the new manual? Okay, I had the ones from the spring still. I just ordered new ones. So how is it now?
It's divided categories.
Well,
No, no, it has the categories, but
Page
page
22
22
the
has
one after.
50.
The one that's like the overflow.
No.
Yeah, so it has the category. So when I'm doing the thought jogger, I'm not using that categories thing. What I told them was,
Okay.
we're using page 22. And then I said, hey, by the way, guys, for tonight, flip back one page, look at 20 and 21. You see all those categories? Now you can get organized. Now you can sit down with mom and go through her cell phone. Now you can make that list a lot more extensive. Cool. That was just to get your juices flowing. Now let's get
It's
organized.
confusing. Yeah. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't have the numbers.
Right, so 22 is where we brainstormed on the training, and then, hey, when you go home tonight, you can use these to get more organized and get more numbers. So that's what I did. So once we did that, let me stop. Are we good so far? Or questions? With
Real quick, do you use your training with your plugins that you've always done? Is that what you're doing? Or okay.
When you're talking about Danny Thompson, is that in the day too?
In the I'll get to that. Sorry, I went away from that. I'll go back to that because I played another video too. I got sidetracked.
Okay.
So anyway, this right here, then I go through. So guys, you made that list of all people over 30. So let's say, so now our best people are called MAC customers, okay? We're gonna go through phone tips, and you're gonna see the number one thing is to get more MAC numbers. And so what a MAC is, when you go through married, why is married better than single? Yeah, 2 incomes. Yeah, more cooking usually happening. Why is a average age better than, you know, or younger? Oh, they're more established. Why is it better than older? They don't need products that are guaranteed forever necessarily. Then owning their own home. Why is that better than renting? You guys already know that.
That's
Yeah,
always
when
fair,
you,
yeah.
when you when you buy a home, that's when you actually make investments for it. Cutco's not a random purchase. You know, it's an investment for your home. So going through that, I'm like, all right, so real quick, go through that list and star everyone who has all three. Because on page 22, it does say that on the top. So it goes right with the manual. So I'm like, star everybody who is an MAC. Cool. So they do that. Then you go into your best 5, best 10, you know, top 10. You go into that talk that he's going through. So you go through that. 2 rules for setting appointments. Okay. One of the things that I talk about, and again, if you're playing the videos, play the videos. That's fine. He goes through a lot of the stuff. We do different kind of versions, but they work great. But 2 big rules when setting appointments that I always give is don't prejudge Mac customers. If they're a Mac, they're the best. But we do have some, you know, the Mac daddies, and we're going to place a bet on those. And number 2 is see your best prospects first. See your best Macs first. Raise your hand and tell me why you think you want to start with your best people first. They say confidence, hit more promotions, bigger, fast start, definite sales. Sometimes someone says it early, but I'd say like majority of the time, it's one of the later responses that I'm like, what else? And then someone goes, oh, recommendations. I'm like, you get the best recommendations. When you start with your best people first, you get the best recommendations. People know people just like them, a little bit above, a little bit below. So when you start with the best, you're getting more of the best people. Who wants to have the best people all through your fast start? Who'd be excited about that? Yeah, heck yeah. That's how you lay a killer foundation, is starting with your best people. So what we're gonna do is I want you guys, so now I go into the top 10, top 5, you know, like going through the appointment. So you can always pause and put in a little plug and then, you know, go through there. But then I have them rank their, and then we go into like the schedule breakdown and stuff. Yeah. So I have them go through, is the video? I don't know. There's one. So I have them go through their list and I'm like, all right, guys. So if you're, you know, I have them basically rate from 1 to 10 in order. All right. So, you know, who's your number 1? I gave you $1,000 to place a bet from Vegas, whatever, you know, whatever version. There's all different versions, but basically we need to know who is their number 1. I mean, like, you know, they're going to buy a homemaker or higher. You're like, you know, they are because they're married, they're average age in home, but they cook all the time. Everyone goes there for Thanksgiving. They throw all the parties. They're that Mac. Everyone's just there. You guys know what I'm talking about? They're like, oh yeah. Everyone knows that. Everyone goes to watch the games there, goes to like some kind of holiday party there. Like that Mac daddy, like that, who's that number 1 that you place that bet? All right. And I want you guys to go through and you have them rate the top 10, you know, their top 10 people. So your focus, by the way, can you see your top 5 this weekend? If you can see your top 5 this weekend, you will hit your first, most of you will hit your first promotion if you see your top 5. Many of you will knock it out in your first sale or 2, by the way. And you'll see that when you guys go out and do your appointments, okay? And then guys, in a perfect world, can you see all of your top 10 your first weekend? Like that's killer, you know, but your goal to really go out and crush it. Can you do 10 max this weekend and make sure you see your top 5 this weekend? Boom, it's lights out. All right. Now I know that won't happen for everybody because some people are traveling or things are happening. So don't freak out. And I think that's important too, because then the person was like, my max are all, you know, like my top 5, they're like, they're wherever, you know, they're on vacations because the top people, are they not going to be going on vacations this summer? Of course they are. So there's going to be, I'm like, hey, by the way, some of your top 5 might be, yeah, that's why they're your top 5. They have money, they go travel, they go on vacation. That's okay. Once they get back, we will reach them, we will catch them, but getting those up for this weekend. So really making sure we're focused on that. So go ahead.
So this is training PowerPoint?
It is.
Could we send that out to everyone?
Everybody asked for it while you were here, and I said yes.
Oh, okay. I've never used PowerPoint.
Yeah, this is my keynote. But you have to see, because this matches my, I mean, it's pretty much, I run Drew's. It's pretty, it's a fusion of Drew,
I'm trying to put
Danny and mine. It's a fusion of all of
I'm
us.
trying to put Danny's into it, but
I don't-
A lot of this I stole from Danny's PowerPoint.
I just read the script. That's all I do.
Which one?
I love Danny's chart. I love Danny's chart.
I just read
But I
the-
love Danny's like
What chart?
The chart.
the 3 points. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
1
too.
point,
Yeah,
3.5.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a fusion of our stuff because we do a lot of similar things. We just accomplish it a little bit different ways. But
Do you have your script, the one that you have all the visual and stuff, or you just now know it and you go?
not yet.
Doing it.
This fall. Just don't worry about it right now. Just read your freaking manual. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm doing.
I'm giving you
But
some
it doesn't
things
go
to
with
work
the-
Base up for next year.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So
She doesn't have a script for
Yeah.
training. She uses a combination of all of them. So Martin Lou doesn't like.
she uses, she goes through Drew's
I
stuff.
just read a
she
manual.
adds.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's all I do. Like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
That's what they teach
Read
you
the
on the first
manual.
day of
Read
training.
the manual. You sell
Read
a
the
lot.
manual.
All right, she's about to break the
Cut through
branch
the
man
file.
record. All right, listen, can we refocus? I have a lot of stuff. So this right here when we're doing that, by the way, now when they're getting on the phones, here's the next thing. Ready? So guys, when we're gonna start the phone jam, right? So you went through schedule, you went through all that. So everybody, first call. What I recommend your first call be is mom or auntie or grandma. Who has your top 10 phone numbers? Who has your top 10 phone numbers? So if you don't have all your top 10 phone numbers, that's the first thing that we want to get. Cool? So what I would recommend is calling mom first and not necessarily doing the approach that's in the manual to her because you need to follow it to talk to mom, but call her so she gets comfortable before you ask for the numbers and go, hey mom, can I practice with you real quick what I'm gonna say to everybody to set up my practice appointments for Cutco? So you can just hear me like what I'm gonna say. Can I just practice with you real quick and just tell mom that? And mom's like, of course. So be like, okay, so when I call auntie, I'm like, hey auntie, how are you? How was your week? And just like talk to her. And then I'm like, all right, so hey, reason I'm calling, I just started this new job showing Cutco and it's part of my check, and just read through it. And how's mom gonna do it? She's like, oh, be like, mom, so that's what I'm gonna do, cool? So I wanted to call Julie and so-and-so and so-and-so to practice with them. What are their numbers? It was great. They were all getting their numbers. They were all booking up their demos yesterday when most of them didn't have crap with them. And even the ones that had the list of names, they didn't even have numbers on them. I was like, oh, cool, pointless. But anyway, so you have them. So I coach them on doing that. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead and call them. Go ahead and call them and practice with her so she hears it. And so, mom, I want to practice with these people. What are their numbers? So get those numbers, cool, and let's call those. Guys, any of your friends, and I gave sheets as they needed them. I'm like, guys, any of your friends that you know the parents really, really well, just text them, yo, I need a favor. What's your mom's cell? I got to ask her a quick question. Or, hey, I'm working for a scholarship. What's your mom's cell phone? I need to ask her a quick question. Just send that and just get their numbers. The parents that you know really well. The ones that you know of, but you don't talk to regularly, well, there's another approach that's in your book. You can call them with this and tell them. If you don't want to call or you prefer to text, here, I have it typed out on here, the text that you would send. It's the same thing as the phone approach that's in the book. So you want to calling it, guys, 90% closing ratio right now and getting your friends' parents' numbers, just reading right off that script. If you don't like to talk, you don't want to call your buddies and go through that, just text them. Shoot a mass text, turn off group messaging that says, yo, I need a huge favor. I'm literally texting everyone I know. This was sent out to you guys, by the way. Then you turn off group messaging so that you can send it to 30 friends at one time and they don't all, they're not on a group. And then as they respond, you send them the message that says what the phone approach says, cool? And then you'll get numbers like that. All right, perfect. So they felt really great. So here, go, So then what I did was, before they started making phone calls, so we're about to make phone calls, I need to meet with so-and-so. So this is what I did. I'm going to keep doing this from now on, is my pullback.
Okay.
So my pullback was, oh, really? Yeah. I don't even know that, but we're going to say that. So I'm doing my pullback an hour and 15 minutes before the end time, right? So trainings go until 7:30. Like right now it was 11 to 7:30. So my pullback was at 6:15. Cool. So we're about to get on the phones. The last hour has to be for phoning, ideally an hour and a half, but minimum that last hour, they need an hour to phone jam. So whatever's happening, stop. They just need to get on the phones. So by the way, I didn't do my full phone approach walkthrough because we were running late yesterday. So, and I knew that by 6:15, I needed to do my pullback. So I'm teaching the phones at 10 till 6. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 6. We're about to go into phone tips. And then phone approach, and then the objections, and then practice, and then that's going to take 25 minutes. And I literally was like, I have whatever it was, I had 10 minutes to do phone stuff before I needed to have them role play and go. So I said, hey, so we went through the phone tips. I did that. And then when the phone approach came, I said, everyone do me a favor and fill this out. Ready? Put hello, name, this, and I filled in all the blanks for them. And I go, cool, we haven't touched it. We haven't practiced it. Anyone want to take a shot at it? And someone raised their hand. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm your aunt. Ready? Go. And everyone stand up, follow it. So he's like, hey, auntie, and he goes, so the reason I'm like, stop real quick, say hi first. Oh, hey, how are you? How was your week? Get it up. What are they all thinking, by the way, right off the bat? Yeah, what do you want? All right. One of them says, oh, that you care about them. I go, no, they don't. They're like, what do you want? Do you really call everybody to make sure that they know to follow up on their week and make sure they know you care about them? Do you do that on a weekly basis? And they all go like, no. I'm like, yeah, exactly. So when you call your best friend's parents, your good friend's parents, your parents' good friends that you don't talk to regularly, what are they thinking? Yeah, what do you want? Oh, another thing we did that helped us get a lot of numbers is that, you know how you tell them 4-to-1 rule, whatever, not everyone's going to pick up. Hey, by the way, guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I'm gonna assume that most of your parents' friends and most of your friends' parents don't have your number saved in their phone. Cool? That might be an exception for some of you, but the majority of you, I'm just gonna assume that most of your parents' friends don't have your number saved. So when you call, are they gonna know who's calling them? No. Who here sometimes doesn't pick up numbers they don't know? Yeah, me either. Okay, so here's what I recommend. You see how it says there? Because it says there 4 to 1. Wherever it says call twice, right? One of the tips, double tap, right? 4 to 1 and then double tap, all right? So it doesn't say double tap, it says call 2 times or call twice or something, right? So here's what I did. I said, so guys, here's the deal. You call once, you wanna call again right away. Why? Because they at first are like, who's calling me? And then they're like, oh wait, the number's calling me again. They pick up because they think it's urgent, it's important, or they might know the person, all right? Now someone still might not pick up and go, huh? All right, send them a text. Here's the text to send, and I put it on the board. I said, so call them twice, and if they don't pick up, text, hey, Julie, it's Kathy, Mickey's daughter. So whoever you are, just say, hey, Jules, it's so-and-so. Had a quick question. When's the best time to reach you? And that's it. And they were getting like people calling back and stuff. Like, oh, hey, or call me in 10 minutes or call me in 20 minutes. So call 2 times. If they don't pick up, send a text. Hey, Jules, it's me. Just say, hey, so-and-so, it's me. Had a quick question, when's the best time to reach you? And sometimes I was, oh, hey, honey, sorry, I didn't know it was you. Or, oh, I'm in the middle of something, call me in 10 minutes or call me in 30. And that was big. Cool? So back to, so we went through the phone approach. I had one kid do it live. I didn't even go through the questions, by the way, at all. I go, by the way, if they ask you a question, it's usually one of these, just read it. Cool? So we're gonna practice this with a partner. You're gonna practice it 2 or 3 times. The first time, no question. Second and third, you're welcome to ask them a question. But I never did it in general. I just let them do it with themselves. I said, literally, just read this. So everyone stand up, grab a partner, and you can start role playing through until they role play through. But then after they're done, I'm like, all right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna kick off our first phone jam. So I showed them how the phone jam works. So I need to do that at 6. So that's where it was. It was like 10 till 6, and I was like, oh crap. So I just went through it really quick. And then at 6, I'm like, so here's how phone jam works. Walked them through that. Ding the bell, Warriors. We give tickets. Tickets are awesome. Cody just got tickets. They love it. It just creates good energy, And they're like, where's my ticket? Where's my ticket? They're working. Every 2 demos they book, they get a ticket. Give away Cutco koozies like the one he has. Those cost. Give away shears, holsters, Louis Vuitton shear holster. Give away peelers. Give away whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just I don't even tell them what I'm gonna give. I go, you get tickets. We're gonna do a raffle, and you're gonna get something to add to your Cutco collection. That's it. They don't even know what they're getting. They're just excited to get tickets and be in the drawing and win something. They just like to win. All right. So that's big. All right. So questions, comments, real quick before I keep talking.
Hold on. That's a lot of information. Hold on.
I know.
Sorry.
Because we started an hour and a half late.
So
It's just Ashley, Nisa, and Matt, Lara.
Questions.
We still have Jacob that they've been trying to get on, but I don't know what they did.
Question. So you actually usually go through the questions that they ask and everything
That's where you're
on
supposed
the
to.
phone, but okay.
What?
So you role play the questions?
No, I just say the first time, don't ask any questions. The second time, say, oh, what is it? Or what's Cutco?
Okay, yeah.
No, I want to make sure I answer your question.
Yeah.
Here's these questions. Are we supposed to bring
Are we
back?
supposed to do that?
Yeah. Yes.
That's my
It's in the
question.
net. It's in the menu.
You didn't do that and it worked for you.
I had them practice with each other, but I didn't walk through the questions.
Okay.
I just say, if you get a question, it's usually one of this, and it tells you what to say. So let's practice it. The first time, don't ask any questions to your partner. Second and third time, you can ask whatever question.
That makes sense. I'm sorry.
So you're running right now to 7:30, right? From
Next week, I start 10 to 6:30.
Okay, do you see a big chance? Because I did it the
Oh,
first
yeah.
time and it really worked. I got 10 demos per head just because I had time to go home, get numbers, make my
Last
call.
night, that definitely
Yeah,
got
because
some more. They came
8:30
back
was
today.
too late. We would leave at 9, they would get home 9:30.
Yeah, that wasn't. They need time that night to work on it. So this is the findings that I've had, and as I've heard things from other people, I moved it this week, emergency last minute, because they were set for 12 to 8. We had 27 people already set for 12 to 8:30 going into Monday, and I was like, we're moving it to 11 to 7:30. Call everybody, and so we called 27 people. We moved it and set everybody else for 11 to 7:30. So that they have some time to go home and collect more numbers, because if not, they're not gonna have any more numbers when they come Saturday. So that's hurting our first weekend pop, was how we were doing training. So with the new 2-day training, I think it's important that we do have it a little bit early, that they have some time, or, you take the hit where you're not gonna get as many numbers collected that night. or they're not gonna make calls that night, but you make the assignment to collect numbers with mom. So when you come tomorrow, we're gonna have a good phone time, and you need to add an extra half hour on the second day so you can really drive a great phone jam Saturday morning. So I'm thinking more like when school's back in session, DMs on Friday. I'm still gonna run 12 to 7, 11 to 7:30 during the school year.
3, what about the people that get out at 3?
Yeah.
In the fall?
They get signed out.
Oh,
It's
but
one time.
well, in high school, we're not gonna have.
They
really high
get
school
signed
football.
out. I'm just saying they get signed out. Even my high school
Are
kids
you
back home.
getting it? Because I'm not in trouble. Everyone's like, my mom says I don't think.
Have your mom call me, and if not, the worst case, you're gonna have them do all the online training and then come late right after school. Like they watch day 1 and day 2 fully. Online training lets you pick. Like you set them for online training,
Okay.
lets you pick day 1 and 2. They need to watch all of day 1 and 2, and then they could come right after school at 3.
Okay. Cool. That's what I need to know. Good.
Yep, you can.
I'm having
That's
a lot of
not
people that
ideal.
yeah.
But if there's gonna be someone late, I'm like, if you cannot get, I don't tell them they can watch videos. When I'm accepting them, when you're accepting them in the interview, it's, hey, by the way, talk to your teachers, talk to mom, one-time deal, you'll never have to miss school again. We need to get you signed out early. Like people miss for doctor's appointments, they miss school for random stuff. And in college especially, they skip just because they got wasted the night before.
College is
So-
really time. It's a Friday.
So I'm just saying, get signed out early. So all my high school kids, we get them signed out early. It's a small percent that parents won't let them. Like it's very rare.
Maybe
It's
I'm not
just-
asking confidently enough.
I'm just saying it just needs to be done the right way. Like, hey, jobs are flexible
You
training.
reckon-
Can you close that door?
You write an
Jobs.
excuse or anything? You just.
I say use this as your excuse letter. If they need a more formal one, I can provide that for you. All right, but this should be fine. It says the training times. It has my number. Have them contact me if they have any issues. All right. Hold on. So that's what I do for training. But when you're accepting people, it's jobs so flexible, training's not, one-time deal. You know, can you show this to your teachers? This is where you want to use one of your absences. When it's a college kid and when it's high school, talk to mom. If you have any issues and you're not able to get it, to call me so we can figure something out. So I don't say, oh, if you don't figure it out, you have videos, because then what happens? Like, oh, watch videos. So like, that's not an option until they call and say, there's no way. And I'll tell you, they usually find a way. And the couple that say, hey, I'm not going to be able to get out or have a test or whatever, I'm like, well, hey, no worries. Here's the deal. The only way I can train you is I have about 3 hours, 3.5 hours of videos that I need you to watch before you come. That would need to be watched tonight or tomorrow before you're here. That's the only way I can train you. Oh, I can do that. Okay, cool. So I'm going to set you for that. You're going to get a link. You're going to go on there, watch. It'll show me when you completed your videos. And then just make sure you come tomorrow with names and numbers of people to practice with. So make sure you have like 10 to 15 numbers with you, and we'll jump you right in. So if you've watched that, you're going to catch right on to where we're at. Because if they watch day 1 and 2 online video, it already goes through some of the value building stuff. So even if they got there a little bit late, they already have that foundation. So they're coming like ready to go. Cool?
Yeah.
So that's what I would do for those.
Sorry,
I want some wine. Is there another glass over there?
what is the difference? Okay, so I've been running my training late because none of my guys are out and everything. But next week we're switching it. And I know that we have an hour and a half more that we're adding to training. What are things that you guys are focusing on? Because we haven't been, like, I mean, I've been finishing at 8 every single time. And
Just have more phone jam time. And if you don't need the whole time, you don't need it.
but is there anything else that you're focusing
Are you
on?
following Frank right?
We're following.
Okay, we're
It
playing,
has the
I'm
times.
playing the videos, maybe because dear Frank has a lot of one-liners that are not in the manual, but I mean, you're getting the pop, so if you're getting the pop, just make sure that you have more
Doesn't matter,
pop.
just have more phone time.
Okay.
That's
what I do.
So like a 2 hour phone jam then?
Just I let them practice, go for an hour and a half, let them get some more role play. It doesn't matter. They don't need to be there. Send them home. Let them go get more numbers. Yeah.
Awesome.
If you're feeling good, I'm long-winded. I wish I had an extra hour.
Yeah,
in
me
day
too.
one.
I wish I
Right
could
now,
go
that
straight
was-
to the next day.
So, okay, so we feel good. So we're doing it earlier, so they have more time. So now they called mom, they got numbers, they're feeling good. The people that didn't pick up, they're texting them, they're getting responses, so they're getting more appointments set up while they're still there. They're getting tickets for driving the jam. And as soon as, and here's what I'm doing, as soon as they come and say, hey, Kathy, I'll go back to the pullback. But as soon as they're like, hey, I called everyone, I did another way, I'll be like, hey, call through one more time, see if we can reach them, or see who we can text. Role play your 8 and 9 while you wait for those. Oh, I got another number. They call them. And then when they're like, okay, the rest of these I have to get from my mom. She's where I'm like, all right, well, then let's get you home so you can go work on this and check in with me by 9 and give them a time. So I'm letting them leave individually. Like when they're done, they leave. So the other guys keep driving, let them keep making calls. And as they come up and say, hey, I have no other numbers. Hey, perfect. Let's get home. Once you get home, if you can get more numbers from mom, you can go, oh yeah, for sure. Cool. Let's use those resources. Hey, the goal, and I told them all, by the way, when we did the brainstorm, and I said, get your top 10 numbers now, I did say to them, hey, the goal is, by tomorrow, can you have 30 numbers, 30 to 50? Cool, 30 to 50 by tomorrow, by sitting down with mom, going through her cell phone, going through and getting numbers from friends. You guys feel good with that? If you use mom's cell phone, you could get to 30 to 50. I'm like, yeah, she has like 500 numbers, maybe just 200 numbers. I have 900. So that's your goal. By the way, anything's better than nothing, even if you get 2 more numbers. Is that a win? Yeah, that's a win. Cool, because I know that even if you don't get it tonight, once you do the presentation, you're gonna get a lot more of those numbers. So again, this is important because if you told them that and they don't get it, what do they think? Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do this job, or like I'm gonna be behind. And so then they're not gonna show up or say like, oh, I couldn't get the numbers, okay? And that's something that's been one of the things that's hurting our show to training. There's 2 big things that I looked at. Yeah, so we'll go back to that. But I'm just saying, just as they need to go, like let them go. Hey, here's the plan. Hey, what resources, what are you using to get more numbers? Okay, great. And so they leave with a game plan and a time to check in. All right, cool, high five, I'll talk to you in an hour. Cool, or I'll talk to you in an hour and a half. Let's go get this thing done. And so they're going and doing that, and then you're following up. Hey, how many more numbers did you get? And anyone that checked in, hey, I got 2 more. Hey, I got 3 more. And my first question, it was, hey, awesome job. How many more numbers have you collected? Every single response of mine, hey, because some texted and I was in the middle of stuff. I'm like, hey, great job. How many more numbers? Oh, I got 5 more numbers, or I got 10 more numbers. I'm like, all right, awesome. Let's keep working on that. Thank you so much, sir. And keep working. I said, because I'm going to give you time tomorrow to make calls, and I want to make sure you're ready to rock. And they're like, all right, cool. So they already knew we were going to make calls the next day, and they want to have numbers. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give you some work. We're going to do a wave here. We're going to do a wave tonight when you get home. Those of you who are wanting to go big, I would do your last round around 9:30, and I set that expectation. Yeah, 9:30 p.m. do your last round through the people you didn't reach, because you'll reach a lot of people late at night that, once they're home from dinner or whatever, you're up with the kids. And then tomorrow morning, I'll give you guys some time to make some calls. You just want to make sure you have more numbers to call. Sounds good? Guys, goal is that everyone by Monday has over 100 people. And do you think once you see grandma, auntie, mom, all that, and you sit down and write down, you think you can have over 100? Oh, yeah. Who thinks you might be able to get that from one of them? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to show you how to rock your recommendations. And so the goal is by Monday, we all have over 100. And they're like, all right, cool. So they felt really good with that. And then today, walking them through how to brainstorm and get all those names and numbers from people. So that was really big, all right? So pull back from day 1, all right? This is the last thing, and we'll take a quick break, okay? So then we can all get attentive again and keep diving through like stuff that we need to knock out. So,
Dinner's on our own, correct?
huh?
Dinner's on our own.
Yeah, I said buy food and bring it with you because I'm empty. We can order pizzas. I'm kind of hungry, but
Gluten-free.
yes. Yeah, they do have gluten-free pizza. Huh? We'll order. Can I finish this last thought and then we'll take a break? Order food and whatever. Okay, cool. Last thought here, and then we'll take 10-minute break or whatever and keep moving, and we can order food or whatever to be delivered. So pull back. While they were practicing phoning, if you didn't earlier, this is an easy place for you to split up who you want for your pullback. All right, you could have done it earlier if you haven't already, but that's when I finalized it and I said, okay, I watched some phone and I made my list of who I wanted to meet with, okay? So when they were done, I said, all right, cool, so here's how the phone jam works. And I explained the phone jam, So guys, what's gonna happen now is we're gonna break up into groups, okay? We're gonna be meeting with each of you, so you wanna stay here. By the way, I need to meet with and I have their character reference sheets and I just call their names. I need to meet with you guys in the other room real quick, all right? And then we'll join the rest. Mary Lou's gonna be meeting with you guys. You need to have someone to help support that. That's the time you want an AM is on Friday. Even if you're all reps or a receptionist or a rep, and have a rep, because we had Nathan just like manning, they started making phone calls. So yeah, as soon as you launch a first rep, have a rep do that, but if not, have a receptionist in a little bit later, just so you have a rep that can kind of help during that time. All right?
Sorry, question. Okay, so.
By the way, worst case, you can't, if you're a one-man show, you have no one there, nothing happening, you just pull them up to any so-and-so, right up at my desk, and then I'm gonna be pulling you guys in waves to come meet with me, okay? And literally you do like a little huddle. And I'm like, all right, here's the deal. I pulled you guys back because you guys are the leaders. And you can say whatever, to them. And so I need you guys to lead the charge. You guys are the people I believe can be on that wall. And everyone's already making calls. I'm like, because with the whole phone, it's like, hey, let's see who gets the most set up. Every 2 you get a ticket, put your name in your phone. Everyone, by the way, so they're like, boom, ready to start making calls. And I'm like, I need to see you guys go real quick. And then I said, and during this time, I'm going to meet with all of you. So you will be paused during your calls at some point. You guys I'm going to meet with first, and then I'm going to be rotating who I'm meeting with. Sounds good? All right, cool. So they go make calls. So if you have a helper, you can go to another room and have a full, if not, you can just huddle right in the front and let them know whatever, okay? So I pulled them over, and I did like my old school pullback. It doesn't matter like what pullback you do, but it's basically just letting them know you're the people that I want to have. Yeah. And I was just like, hey guys, I'm like, just so you know, I'm a talent scout. That's what I do. And just talking about that, I'm always looking for great people to add to our team. I'm like, after observing you guys today so far, like I'm gonna have to ask you guys not to come back tomorrow. They're like, I'm like, I'm just kidding. They're like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm just kidding. I'm like, you guys are the people I'm super stoked to have. I said, by the way, if it's just you guys and me tomorrow, I'm fired up. I am so excited.
That's
to have
so
you
smart,
guys.
and that always happens to me.
What?
The copy go, I'm not good at like loving the background.
Yeah,
So,
so there you go.
It's always I always want to.
But just tell them, say, hey, by the way, if it's just you guys and me tomorrow, all right, like I'm so excited to add you guys to our team and add that next layer of people that I really believe can be the future key staff members, future captains, people that I want Miss Vasquez to meet. Like you guys are the people I wanted that SLDM Tuesday representing for our office. You guys are people that I'd want to have on her alliance. And we're going to talk about this when we go through push stuff, but I want to have you guys on her alliance, by the way. She's looking to have of our 19 offices to have 150 people on that. And you guys are people that I'd be excited about working with her and representing. And you get to work with her, you make a lot more money this summer. All right. And they're like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to, I want to be part of that group. I'm like, so this isn't pressure. I don't want you guys to feel pressured at all if you've got a crazy schedule, but just know that if there's anyone that I'm going to coach that I really believe can do 10K, it's from this group. So if any of you are excited about going for that, just make sure to let me know when I meet with you one-on-one. Let me know that you want to gun for it, because if you want to gun for it, I'm going to definitely make sure to help you have a plan in place to help you get there. Cool? And even if you're not able to schedule-wise, know that I'm super stoked to have you, even if it's part-time. So excited to have you on the team. So awesome job today. So the most important thing is right now, we got to lead this charge. You guys got to get in there and just start calling up, get those numbers, lead the charge, work hard. You know what? With some of your clientele, you're not going to reach them. They're out at happy hour. And it was so funny, by the way, because instead of them getting discouraged, I got a text from Jasmine, and I can show you on my phone last night that she goes, can't reach anyone. They're probably at happy hour, LOL. And I go, yep. I'm like, we'll catch them tomorrow. So they don't get discouraged. I'm like, hey, with a lot of your clients, your best people, you might not catch them. Because maybe they went out to happy hour or something. It's Friday. It's like, thank goodness it's Friday. And they're just enjoying their time. And I'm like, if I wasn't here, that's probably where I'd be too. So, and they're just all laughed. And I'm like, I'm just saying. I'm like, but we're going to catch them later. You'll catch them later tonight. Those are people you might catch in your 9:30 round. And if not, tomorrow morning for sure, we'll catch them. Cool? I'm like, so don't get stressed out. Just keep collecting more numbers. And we're going to get those people. And when we do, we know they're going to spend money because they were out spending money at the bar or wherever, restaurant or movies or wherever they were at. And they're all like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So just again, framing so they're feeling good so we can really elevate that pop with them. So that was something that yesterday was my first pullback, by the way, that I've done. I'm like, I love pullbacks. I just had it. I'm like, I was going following the script and then I was like, we didn't do a pullback. And everybody was like, shit, we're going to do a pullback. And I'm like, when do I do the pullback? So I just kept, we were rushed. I've still been getting used to everything too, like this is not just an adjustment for you guys. It's not like I've ran 2-day for years. I just started doing that this summer too, like I ran a couple before to like kind of get in the swing, but like, I'm still like, okay, how do I get the pop that I had? How do I make people feel special like I had? So every time I finish training, I've written notes on what went well and what could have gone better. And that's why I wanted to share stuff with you guys of like what I'm doing to fix, because that really helps you. Like, what did you do that you want to make sure you repeat next week? And what are things you're like, dang, I dropped the ball here or I dropped the ball there, that you want to make sure you put extra attention on next week so you don't forget to do it? Or, what did you do that worked that you really liked so you can repeat it? So those are all really big things, all right? So, because I'll tell you, there's been times where I ran a great seminar and the next week I'm like, oh my God, I totally didn't do what I did last week that was so great, or whatever promotion we gave or story that like people just really clinged on to. And then whatever, they go home to collect numbers. And then in the morning, like I said, once you finish the high flyer workshop, put that video on and selling to past customers, get everything ready, and then launch them out into Phone Jam. So now they're jamming and booking up more appointments. Then you regroup them and dive into the day. But I really liked that video just right in the beginning because it really and I put our training half an hour longer than Drew's videos are, by the way. Because he had 7.5 hours for day 2, and I have 8 hours for day 2.
His videos is longer than 7.5 hours.
It's longer.
Because you're just sitting there. You're always pausing them, jumping in, kind of answering questions. So it's always longer. So if you only play the videos, they're not gonna get on it. So you have to put it.
Day 2. How long should it be?
Like 8 hours, 7.5 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
But what else are you doing? Just like,
Watch the videos.
Just
The videos.
watch the videos.
Watch the videos. The videos tell what Drew does, and that's what we're all doing.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. You can run your own. But I'm saying the videos are 7.5 hours
Okay.
without you talking. So if you talk also, it's
Do
8. Just do it. You're doing fine. There's no
You think
issues.
more about.
Look, you already ran an office and you've ran training.
Okay, I'm
So like,
sorry.
I'm running my training. A lot of these guys have never ran training
Okay,
before.
I'm sorry. I was
so
just confused. Like, okay, sorry. Go.
Because why is my training longer? Because I freaking talk a lot.
Yeah.
Because I tell a lot of stories. That's it.
Um,
Which I've cut down a lot, but I still like talk too much.
For pullbacks, do you just focus on your sharp?
Top half.
Top
did you
half.
do top half?
Top half.
Okay.
And then you can pull back the couple people. Like I grabbed 3 of the studs on their phone. I said, hey, you guys come here. And I had them at my desk and I go, you 3 are the people that I want to go. Like they had already been like, oh, they gave me their sheet and they're like, I want to go big or whatever. And, you know, but I pulled them over and I said, hey, you guys are the people that I said, hey, I gauge the temperature actually when they're role playing. I walk around, hey, how are you feeling? How's your first, you know, how are you, how's your weekend look? And how's this week? It's like, I'm open. I want to go all out. I want to, you know, like, and they'll say that because earlier in my intro, I say, hey, by the way, make sure you let me know if that's something you want to do. So when I talk about, just in the intro, we're going through stuff where I pop people in and I say, hey, oh, we're going to talk about Fast Start, right? So when you're doing literally in the intro, and I'll pop at different places. When you walk through the outline of day 1, you talk about, or he mentions like, we're gonna talk about Fast Start, right? So whenever you mention Fast Start, letting them know, hey, by the way, it's not in Drew's videos, so you need to pause and let them know, hey, by the way, I'm gonna have a special workshop tomorrow morning, an hour earlier. This is not a requirement, it's an invitation, not an obligation. And you can play, you know, I don't know if you've done that workshop.
Yeah, no, we do it every Saturday.
Cool.
And then we get like the top guys. to
Do
come
you
in,
bring
so
them
it's like-
breakfast?
Yeah.
Do you call it the breakfast?
No breakfast, no nothing. They bring their own.
That's what.
Yeah, so I just say, so hey guys, so when you guys can just pause your video real quick if you're playing the videos and just say, hey, by the way, we're gonna have something extra. This is a special coaching training from our division manager on what it takes to get on that wall. And by the way, she's helped produce some of the best sales reps, some of the biggest pops, some of the biggest fast starters, and just, you know, build that up and say, and so it's gonna coach you on what it takes to get on that wall. I always have a fast start wall, like I'm very big on that. Yeah, it's recorded. You can just play it. He played it and his guys sold it.
Ultimately, it's taken.
Ultimate with steak knives. It's on YouTube. I'll give you the link. Yeah, day
High
3
flyer.
high flyer workshop is what it's called, even though now it's day 2. So
Oh, that's all you do, the video. Because I was doing it today. Okay, your video?
he's playing my video.
Okay.
So you can just play the video, but learn it so you can do it
Of
yourself.
course,
Yeah.
but I can take notes.
Yep. So pause it and say, hey, by the way, so this is what I said. I said, by the way, that shows you what it takes to make $2,000 to $5,000 your first week on the job, okay? And by the way, not all of you are gonna have the time to do something like that, but I'll tell you, even for those of you who don't have the time, that workshop will still be beneficial and it'll help you maximize your first week regardless. So I definitely recommend coming to that, even if you can't go for the big numbers, because it'll still help you. And by the way, we had 13, I took the picture when there was 10, but literally right after I'd taken that picture, like 3 more walked in. We had 13 out of the 19 there. Last week I had almost everybody, I think all but 2 were there because I just promoted so much and they were all there. I was like, boom, nice.
Do you promote it like throughout the day, or you mentioned it
I do.
and then, like,
I mentioned the
pull back?
beginning and I mentioned, you know, hey, we're going to have that when I do scheduling. Hey, for those who want 8 a.m. schedule, it's the next big thing. But when I talk about, when I say, I'm going to coach you on what it takes. And by the way, if any of you are actually, if any of you guys are down to bust your butt for a week, I'm totally down to coach you, but I'll tell you, it's 1 week of like, you know, athletes, you know, 3 days, you know, guys, boot camp, you know, like we're up early, I'm going to coach you, but it's like, we're up early for 1 week straight. So if you're, I have no problem handing you 2, 3, 4, 5 grand if you're willing to get up. And I said, and some of you guys are all like, who thinks that you're like, oh, I'll get up for 2 to 5 grand, right? And like, I'm like, yeah, everyone's like, yeah, I'll get up. I'm like, no, you won't. I'm like, because day 2, the alarm goes off and you're like, it's so early. I'm like, I just got home at 4 a.m. And they were like all laughing. I'm like, yeah, I know. I said, you're going to be exhausted. I said, so everyone could theoretically hit 10K, but not everyone does it. Why? Because it's a discipline. I said, maybe 1% of our company hits that their first week, by the way. It's a very prestigious thing. And the reason being is people just lack the discipline. I said, everyone could be in shape, but not everyone, like, eat healthy and work out, but not everyone has the discipline to do that. It's hard because it's fun to eat chunky food and whatever it is your excuse, you know? So anyway, but I promote, so I already told them, like, if you're someone, by the way, who'd be excited about going big, just let us know during a break or something so we know to focus extra attention on you. So I plant that seed, and it's great because that kid will come, like I had a kid, Jack, the kid who just sold $1,400 on his first sale. he's like, hey, excuse me, can I talk to you real quick, like during a break? And I said, what's up? And he's like, hey, I really want to hit that 10K. I really want to go big, but like I'm in high school. I have exams this week, whatever. I said, hey, that's cool. He's like, I'm done next week. And is there any way I could wait to start? That's what he said to me, because he's like, I really want to do it. He's like, is there any way I could wait to start? And I usually have like one person say that. And I said, oh no, I'm like, you don't want to do that. I said, we're going to start this weekend, get you going. We'll work part-time. I said, I can help you hit 10K. I said, without even having next weekend because of graduations. I said, Jay hit 8K his first weekend. I said, you just want to be booked up with the right people so you can get it done. I said, if you're here tomorrow morning and we load up your first weekend, I said, I've seen people hit it their first weekend. I said, I can't guarantee you that, but I'm just telling you, you can hit 10K without having the full week, still studying, still getting your stuff done, and graduation. He's like, okay, all right, cool. Because he was like, can I just wait? I'm like, no. But they come, so I knew that kid wanted it. And then other people, like while they were role playing later, right after I shot the demo, I walk around, how you feeling? How's your weekend looking? And that's when I had people they tell me, they go, hey, by the way, I really want to go for those top levels. Or people that I like, if they didn't say it to me, I go, hey, by the way, how are you feeling? Hey, by the way, do you have time this week? Like to work, like, or do you have another job? Or do you have availability? And they're like, I'm totally open. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, we'll talk later. Because if you'd be open to being coached, I definitely would love to work with you and help you hit the top levels. Oh yeah. No, I definitely want to do that. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll talk later. And so I knew those were people that I was going to have in my pullback. And then, once we did that and I knew how many knocks I had or whatever, the people I knew could really do the top three that I was like, these guys need to do it. I pulled them up and I go, hey, by the way, you're the three I feel could really get this thing knocked out. I'm like, not to say others won't, because some people are going to pop in this group and surprise us, but you're the people I really feel could get this done. So let's work hard and get whatever. And you're like, all right, got it. I'm like, and if you guys are down, we got to work hard to make sure we have 100 numbers by Monday. Like that's the deadline. Get as many as you can tonight, but 100 numbers by Monday, utilizing all family, all resources. You could get a lot more than that, but that's the number. Cool, 100 or more by Monday. Okay, got it, I got it, I can get that. And so they felt really comfortable, because that's, if you had all weekend to see all your friends and family and go through their cell phones, do you feel good about getting 100 names and numbers? For sure. And if they have 100 names and numbers by Monday, are they going to go out and sell $10,000? 1,000%. They can do it, okay? Because their first weekend, as much as great training we ran in 3 days and whatever prep we did, our kids didn't even average 5 demos per head first weekend, So if they're just doing that, if they're coming with 100 names and numbers ready to rock the week, they're going to tear it up, all right?
Can you record your training?
Not yet.
Why?
Just stick to what we have. Seriously.
Just read the manual.
Read the manual.
We don't change things in summer.
No. In the fall is when you change things and you work and you test things in the fall, you perfect them in the spring, and you execute in the summer.
Can we go over this in the fall and start talking about it?
Yes, we
We
will.
have like 3 more weeks. When
Read the manual.
be like, new training program.
This is not the time, all right?
Yeah, that's okay.
So, okay, we're good with all that so far? Cool, let's take a break. Let's figure out food, whatever. And then guys you have to check up with teams. Let's do this, it's 8:27. If you want a PDI, if you want to do it, let's start at 8:45, all right? We're gonna go later than 9:30, by the way. Maybe till like 10. I'll focus on 10. I'll focus on being done by 10. But do 8:45, we start back up. You still feel really bad? Is there anything I can get for you? Do you want some good tea that's like good for like settling your stomach? It's ginger ale. No, okay. That could be tea. Just kidding. Let me see. Juice something. Huh? I brought it home, so if we wanted to just juice it, we can make a juice. Like a tomato juice, but there's 2 tomatoes, celery, carrots. All right, let's see how these are. We'll just do first half, second half.